What's up, guys? Frugal VC coming at you. Some Algorand news today, some big stuff today. The first thing we're going to talk about is Algorand being mentioned in a Visa patent. That is a big deal. Plus, we got Coma being shut down for a little bit. We're going to dig into what is up with that. Is Vendible a rug pull? Some people are suggesting that maybe that is the case. We will dive into that a little bit. And one of the co-founders of NextGens is tweeting again, but well, none of it has to do with these shoes that we made a big report on last week. We will we'll talk about that a little bit. First thing I want to do before we get into any of those news is I want to talk about the price of Algorand, because we're seeing some good news lately. Before we get into that, by the way, if you guys like this stuff, if you wouldn't mind hitting the subscribe button and the like button, as always, you don't have to smash those buttons. Just press it gently. Plus, give it a little love to our sponsors, Non-Fungible Domains and Taco Coin. Got some links down in the description. Also going to have a new sponsor coming on board next month. Very excited to talk to you about that. You will see that later in the week. They will be here, so we'll let you know who that is. Very excited to have them on board. And meanwhile, let's get back to actually talking about some Algorand here. Here is Vestige, and that's right, we have hit over 11 cents on the Algorand. We're actually down now. We fell back a little bit down to just 1082 basically, so 10.8 cents essentially. But I think a lot of people are just happy about this. I mean, obviously, but we've just been seeing things go down so much that it's been nice to see it go the other direction. So we got a little bit of a pullback, but I think we're going to be going. I think we're going to be going up still. So this is really good news. This is good to see. It's nice to see Algorand. It was in the top performing assets in the top 100. I think it was number 6 yesterday. So good to see. Like I said, we fell back a little, but we'll probably pump back up at some point. Just nice to see it going in the opposite direction. But to me, this is just wild that Visa mentions Algorand, and we're going to take a look at this patent because I think this is a big deal. A lot of these credit card companies have been experimenting with blockchains. Some have had their own proprietary blockchains. And we don't know a lot about this, but let's just take a look at this patent application because I think this is really interesting. So this came from Kevin Cage, who is a pretty big account, pretty big crypto guy. Got a couple 100,000 subscribers here, or followers on YouTube or on Twitter. This is a patent filed on the 24th of October, by the way. But the application, or at least the date this was all published was that. It was actually an application back from 2021, from September of 2021. And we see it's from Visa International Service Association. So we don't have the full patent here, but we can see this is a patent filed by Visa. And as you can see, Algorand, everywhere you see highlight Algorand is mentioned. Most of these are being mentioned as part of these write-ups that they're citing. So these are all their citations, and there's Algorand included in it. You can see Silvio Macaulay's name. I can't really show it to you, but it's 4 lines down on the left-hand side. You can see Silvio Macaulay's name. Not a text, so I can't highlight it. And then at the very bottom, you see this yellow thing. So here's where we get mentioned in an actual narrative. Some BFT-based protocols, such as Algorand, that are resilient to a fully adaptive adversary, choose a new committee for every transaction block, resulting in a linear number of identity blocks required to verify transactions. To reduce this overhead by a factor of, say, K, the acting committee can witness and sign the election of K committees selected after it. This allows the client device to download only one identity block per every K identity blocks. So this is getting into the weeds. Like this is pretty technical here, and I think it's just cool that it's mentioned. And by the way, I've been looking into nodes, and they put out this. It's really weird. Fox Finance put out this like how to participate in consensus through Fox Finance by using a one-click node. And for whatever reason, they put this out after the consensus period. It would have been nice if they put that out beforehand, so you could actually choose to participate in consensus in governance and then use the Fox Finance protocol instead. Now it's cool that they put this out, but also you're not going to be able to use it until next year because you need G-Algos committed to do it through Fox Finance. Now I'm really interested in running nodes. I've kind of looked into how to run a void node. It's a very similar process. So I might try it out. I'm not sure. I definitely want to try out the Algorand node, because you can actually gain, you can actually earn money with your algo just by participating in the node. You don't have to leave the node running 24/7, which is kind of cool. So I just wonder if there's a version. There must be a way to do it without going through Folks Finance, but I have to look for a tutorial on that. But thanks to Ost from, he's the guy behind High Forged and the pirate game that's on Algorand. Met him at Cypher, very cool guy. He's putting out he put out this one-click node, and then he has a tutorial how to use it. So that's pretty neat. I think it's cool that he was smart. This is a smart guy. He's a very smart guy to be able to do that, I think. Seems complicated to me, but good for him. We will probably dive into that at some point. Just not sure how. I had to monkey around with it a little bit. Besides that, had some issues on Cometa. It looks like they were down for a little while. From what I can see this morning, Cometa is back up. Now, if you don't know what Cometa is, it is basically a DEX on the Algorand blockchain where you can do farming and staking like you can on Tinyman and other places like that. There's some good parts about it. There's some bad parts about it. One of the things I don't like is, one of the things I did like is what I should say, is that they had this ability to directly swap right into the coins you needed. So it was really, really easy to create liquidity pairs. You didn't have to go through all the steps like you do on, say, Tinyman. But then they didn't update it for version 2. So now that if you do like the meta algo pool, it gives you the version 1, but you can only stake the version 2, so you still have to go to Tinyman. It's really strange that they wouldn't update that, but they've also had some problems. I know they laid off a bunch of staff earlier in the year, so that could be part of the problem. But this is straight from Cometa itself. The Cometa website has been down for several hours. We got a bug. Only front end site is affected. Funds are safe. My funds were safe. Nothing was wrong with my stuff, I can say that. They call themselves a DEX aggregator. Our apologies for the inconvenience. That was early in the morning this morning, and it does appear to be back. So they got it up and running. There's some scams. Here's some of the scams you see, by the way. It's like, why only so few people know about this is beyond me. It's literally making 16 ETH weekly. Yeah, sure it is. Sure it is. Those scam ads that pop up in there. Appreciate the transparency and communication. Thanks for keeping us updated. So everyone's pretty appreciative of the communication, and this is something I've been talking about. Communication. It's always a bad sign when you go dark. That's the first thing people in crypto think is rug pull. Why rug pull? Why? Because we've been through this so many times. So many people in crypto have gone through these rug pulls. So you have to communicate. Silence is not an option, and no, just putting it on Discord is not enough. I'm sorry, it's not enough. A lot of people aren't on Discord. Put it on Twitter, put it somewhere where it's publicly findable and easily accessible. I think everyone should maybe just have a Medium account or a Substack where they can put these updates on so people can just find them and get the information when they need it. That's one of my my things in crypto, is the communication is just oftentimes terrible. Now, another thing that's been going on in Algorand lately, some questions about whether Vendable is a rug pull or not. It's just what I was saying about communication. We're going to take a look at what is going on with Vendable, because they appear to have gone somewhat silent, which is never a good sign. Now, they were a pretty ambitious project, as we will see. Joe Moore asked, there's a big question within the Vendable community as to whether or not this effort has become a rug pull. Does anyone have a good info on this? And here's why Joe says this. They sent 119,000 algo. Basically, ipso facto, it cashes out through Binance. So they sent a whole lot of algo that they cashed out. Now, there can be a number of explanations for that. You may or may not be paying your employees in algo. I actually don't know what a lot of people do. I think a lot of them probably do USDC, probably the Algorand version of USDC versus sending algo itself, but it could be. But you're not going to pay your Amazon Web Service bill with algo, I don't think. Maybe. I doubt it. Or you're not going to pay your rent or whatever these expenses are that these guys are. I don't know if they have a building or not. But that much at once kind of makes you wonder. We can see what people had to say. Governor had said it's hard to read their white paper, not recognize that very complex and serious mathematical work went into it. I suspect the prolonged bear market just meant they could not keep paying for the coding, engineering, other costs as required to see it into execution. Well, that's happened to a lot of crypto platforms, especially on Algorand. We've seen the bear market really hit, and a lot of places, a lot of bigger ones even closed down. It seemed like for a long time we were covering all these closures, and surprisingly, the last few months. We haven't had a lot of them. Gov.voice is I personally believe it's an ambitious project. There's a lot of capital requirements. Yeah, that's definitely true. Do I have proof that it is or is not a rug from the inception now after a rocky market? Nope. Just someone who blah, blah, blah. We get the idea. Well, let's see. Have they, I always like to look at their tweets. They tweeted something on October 3rd. That is nearly a month ago. Proud to see one of our own seeing their dream become a reality. Nothing to do with that. Reposted something about Humble, and then September 6th, they retweeted something from Polygon devs. But yeah, and then something from like September 2nd. So they've been pretty quiet. I wonder what happens if we look at their Discord. Okay, that's not good. Their page is actually gone. The Vendible Labs page is gone. That's not a great sign. That's not a great sign at all. But you can go to the Wayback Machine, but I would be, it just makes me think of Algorand, and like I said, we don't know. So I don't want to say for sure, hey, this is a rug pull. But I've been very leery of, hey, buy these NFTs now, and someday we'll do something cool. I'm like, do something cool now. Do it now. Don't do it later. Do it now. And the something now shouldn't be rewards in your native currency that you built on the chain, because who knows what's going to happen to that. But this is bad. I think when the web page is gone, that makes me nervous. I'm just going to go to their link tree, pull that up. We're doing a little deep dive right here just to make sure I had the right website. Discord. This is I'm going to tell you, this is one of the reasons why I hate Discord, by the way. Because there's always like a million steps. I already have a display name. Why do I need a new one? I mean, all I want is the information. That's why I like websites. I don't like Discord. I gotta do all this crap. Click on each image containing the smallest animal. Be that one, I guess. Doesn't even make sense. I mean, you see how fast I got to the website, or at least the dead one? Yeah, just show me the thing. Just want to see when the last announcement is. August. Last announcement is in August. That is usually not a good sign. I don't know. I don't want to say it's a rug, or could just be their folding. It's hard to say what is a rug. Is a rug like an intentional? Can a rug be unintentional? If you just bail on the project, it is a bail though, because you should. If you're shutting down, just say you're shutting down. Tell people, give people some warning instead of just going silent. So I don't know what's going on with them. Like I said, they tweeted about a month ago. There hasn't been an update in the Discord on their announcements since August. I like to see more regular updates than that, just so people know what's going on, but pretty quiet, a little concerning. Speaking of potential rug pulls, so we made a video about the NFT shoe fiasco in Algorand not too long ago. Was that last week already? Seems like a long time ago, but did this deep dive kind of CoffeeZilla style investigation into Little Dirk's shoe company that people were supposed to get real shoes from, and they didn't. Like I said, and this is something I'll harp over and over again, be very leery of NFTs that are supposed to provide something sometime in the future, at some point, whenever they get around to it. Just be very cautious of that. Anyway, one of the people involved, the co-owner, was named Ben Weiss, and he has been tweeting a lot. Not about the shoe though, so why don't we take a look at this. Here's Ben. He still has co-founder of Next Gens with rapper Little Dirk in his title. In his Twitter bio, he's got the Next Gens shoe that no one is getting. You're never gonna see that. And apparently he's in Miami, according to his thing. He's been doing these, keeps doing these interviews, and oddly enough does them like vertically. So I guess he's making them specifically for Twitter. I don't know what's going on here. But he's talking to the Build-A-Bear workshop person. He's got like the founder of Complex. Those. I'm gonna get to my favorite one in just a second. It's coming, guys. Jake Wood, who was a person in the Marine Corps. It's pretty cool. The inventor of Siri. I mean, that's kind of cool. It's a cool get. I give him credit for that. But where's my favorite one? Come on. Oh, Andy Mooney, who is the CEO of Fender. That's Fender Guitars. And long story about Fender, actually. Well, I'll make it short. Leo Fender left his own company and started G&L Guitars because he was concerned about the quality degradation at Fender. And so he wanted to make guitars that were actually high quality again. And I do have a Fender, by the way. Sometimes I wish I'd gotten a G&L instead. But anyway, he was apparently a CMO at Nike. So interesting that two shoe company guys here, the difference being that when you buy a shoe with Nike, you actually get the Nike shoe. You don't just get a promise that's never delivered. Anyway, I just found that Rich, this is going back to September, so he's been real quiet. Like I said, the Discord was quiet. I can't get into the Discord anymore, so if they've updated since then, I have no idea, because I was booted. I was banned from it, apparently. I don't know, do they actually give you, I've never been banned from a Discord before, so I don't know if you get like a warning or something. All I know is when I tried to go look at it, I can't get into it, so I took a bunch of notes the first time I was in there, and I just was never allowed to get back in, so apparently they booted me, probably knowing that I was looking into the situation. Apparently, I heard that was pretty common, that they were booting a lot of people from the Discord, but a lot of people were asking questions, and most people seem to be under the belief that they were not going to be getting their shoes, so that is that. But interesting week for Algorand. I hate to put in some of these downers here, because the Algorand community is very excited about having the coin finally going up instead of down. Still flirting with that, you know, top 45 to top 50 market cap range when, you know, when I first started covering Algorand and doing videos, it was in the low 20s. Supposedly when Stacey Warden took over, it was at number 18. And it may or may not have been. I don't know if I was paying attention to it as much then. I had it, but I didn't really deep dive into it. But it's nice to see things going in a positive direction. Very happy. So yay, Algorand. By the way, we got a big Christmas special coming up this year. And I'll tell you, it was more of a pain in the butt to set up so far than I thought it would be. But we'll have some really cool guests. One was really easy to book. The other one should have been easy to book because he was fully on board with doing it. And then I played email hell with the person's schedulers, and oh my gosh. Well, it is what it is. Keep an eye out for that. Yeah, keep an eye out. We'll be doing that node video at some point, I think, because I really want to dive into it. And that's it for now. Stay safe out there. Not your keys, not your crypto. I'm FrugalBC, and I will see you in the future.